We now know when the Hachette Combat Patrol will be launched, at least in the UK. The rest of the world should follow shortly afterwards. There are a lot of details known, but we're still waiting on a few more changes. First of all, what is the Hachette Combat Patrol magazine? This is a weekly magazine run by a company that's paired with Games Workshop so that they can give you discounted models. Over the course of the next 2 years, which is how long the rest of 10th edition is expected to run, you will get the models that come in 9 combat patrols, plus an extra model or unit for each faction. They're weekly magazines with a little bit of advice, perhaps a little scenario, some lore and background, and it comes with a unit sprue. For some units, this may mean that you need 2 issues to get the whole kit, and occasionally the magazine also comes with paints or brushes instead. So in the past, there was the Imperium magazine, which gave you the full, now X, Sisters of Battle Combat Patrol and a unit of 3 Paragon warsuits. Same principle, the full Combat Patrol plus 1 extra unit. Though sometimes this extra unit is just a character model. The Adeptus Sororitas won't get anything in this magazine run, as they were one of the main Imperial factions in the Imperium magazine. But we will have the Genestealer cult, and this is based on the previous, really good Combat Patrol, plus a unit of Jackal Bikers as the bonus unit. This kind of makes the new Combat Patrol not worth getting at all unless you want a Ridge Runner or more Acolytes / Metamorphs, or to get the bike sooner at a reduced price. And that sooner is important. I'll explain later. This magazine will cover 9 combat patrols and for the most part looks to cover the combat patrols as they appeared at the end of 2023. That is before the Orcs, the Chaos Space Marines and the Genestealer cult patrols were changed. I mention these specifically because in the promo image these are the ones included, the older combat patrols, while the Space Marines and the Tyranids have changed from the very start of the edition, like last edition, and now include their Leviathan Combat Patrol variant. That is much worse for the Space Marines, certainly. But the flip side, good news on that, is that the first issues with some of them are cheaper than normal. Again, I'll explain in a minute. Some changes may occur to this final lineup, but at least for many of my viewers, I think we are safe on the Genestealer Cult Combat Patrol being this better, older one. The new Combat Patrol is not out yet, and the Hachette Combat Patrol magazine is launching in August 2024 in the UK, as I predicted, 1 year after the launch of 10th edition, much as it did for the Imperium magazine regarding 9th edition. To be ready for launch, the Hachette people would have to know what it was that they were offering to make promo material, and Games Workshop is trying to reduce the amount of leaks. So I don't think Games Workshop would have sent the Hachette people, hey, here's loads of the new Genestealer Cult Combat Patrol, don't tell anyone, don't have any of your people working on the sprues in the warehouse mention it, and the people at Hachette would have to organise these sprues into different weeks, have no overlap, because things like the Chaos Space Marine Combat Patrol bonus unit is the Master of Possession. He now appears in the new Chaos Space Marine Combat Patrol. If they were to swap it over, then they would need to figure out a different bonus model. Right. We know August 2024 because some people who subscribed to the magazine upon its initial trial run, announced in January in the UK, have been told when it is coming and that their subscription will be reset to Magazine 1. The Space Marine Captain and Captain Flappy Bat, plus some dice and a little battle mat. It is 22 inches by 30 inches. I know because I asked someone who got the trial version to measure it. That is £2.99. That's like $4 US or 5 Canadian dollars. If you want multiple of these, that's not a bad idea. Tyranid Shrikes, which are Tyranid warriors with wings, should become a unit of their own at some point. So having 3 of these would be a good idea, because then you have a unit of Shrikes ready for their return. It is easy to make the captain anyway from Terminators, just a regular box of Terminators, as he can have a Power Fist or a Power Sword and a Stormbolter. But then you wouldn't get the fancy base. And for £3 for 2 models plus some other bits, that is really good value for a Games Workshop product. I mean, compared to what Games Workshop normally charges. Issue 3 is 5 Infernus Marines. They appear early on and less than the normal price. A cheaper $6.99 rather than the normal issue cost of $9.99. That's in pounds. And these are just Space Marine bodies, so Deathwatch players with a bunch of Deathwatch veteran weapons left over can easily make some more nice Deathwatch veterans in a bigger scale. Now, should you subscribe to the magazine or just be making the weekly purchases? If you subscribe, you're gonna get 9 armies. With 9 armies, you could end up like me. But with an increase in the Brood Brothers percentage allowed in the Genestealer Cult Codex, having a Cult Sentinel and artillery could be valuable. The Commissar bonus model wouldn't help, and the Command Squad holds no real value for Genestealer Cult players. If you're not painting your models each week and keeping up, that's a lot of things to either have in the back of the cupboard as a massive pile of shame, or you're gonna have to keep putting things on eBay week after week. You would have all of the current Votann units except the vehicles. So that's a positive if you want to just start collecting Votann. Or you just buy the Combat Patrol as it is right now. Overall, you're getting about 35% off compared to buying the actual Combat Patrol boxes through Games Workshop. But you will also get a lot of bits you may not want. Even if you want all the armies, for some reason, such as you're starting up a club, you may not want the paint. The problem with that as a discount is it is overall. If you don't want all the bits, you're still having to pay for them. You may be much better off going straight to my affiliate links in the description, getting these discount prices compared to going through Games Workshop, and getting the units you want right now. I mean, I definitely recommend doing that, not least because using these affiliate links helps out my channel, as you supporting them means that they support me. You should also be able to subscribe to the Hachette Combat Patrol magazine via a lot of local news agents. If you do go via Hachette, you get a few extra bits, including a Primaris Company Champion. Now hopefully that is one of the things that gets changed, because that model alone is now in Legends, which I know a lot of people don't like. Or it can be found in the Company Heroes box along with a Captain and 3 other models. As a Legends unit, they're very similar to the Judicia, so you could just use it as one of them instead. We know that there will be some changes, but I am expecting these to be minor. Just some changes to the add-ons. Subscribing to Hachette, as far as they've announced it, could guarantee you get all of the bits you like. Random magazine purchases can lead to missing out and instead having to pay closer to full retail price through all those people who did subscribe selling on eBay. Though market saturation should lower prices a little bit. In the previous Imperium magazine run, there had been problems for some people as some of the issues were not delivered and months later they were promised and then finally arrived. Hopefully Hachette can perform better this time and they don't have a shortage of parts. The premium version, where you pay £2 extra per issue, gives you a lot of extra units, but it's such an odd mix of units. And the Brood Coven for the Genestealer Cult are very old models. And that's the only bonus Genestealer Cult ones. And the Magos, you get that in the Combat Patrol magazine. Just a different sculpt of the Magos. If you go via the weekly magazine purchasing, that's great. You get the ones you want, in theory. There is a chance of missing out, as if it's a really good one, like 10 neophytes in one magazine for £10, that's £1 a model, a lot of people are going to grab as many of them as possible from the shelves. That's where there's eBay shortly afterwards, but you could be that person that's grabbing a lot of them off the shelves and getting multiple issues of the ones you want, potentially. If you were able to get all of the Genestealer Cult units twice over, that is 1500 points, roughly. That's a full army, but there are still quite a few drawbacks to this Combat Patrol magazine. The Space Marines and the Tyranids are just the ones from the Leviathan box set, and you can buy all of the Leviathan Tyranids, not just the ones that appear in the Combat Patrol second-hand, for less than the Combat Patrol parts here. I have seen just the Tyranid models on eBay for £35, though that is just one data point. And this magazine will be slowly releasing units over the course of 2 years. If you want an army now, buying through affiliate links is much better. I think I'll be going for the weekly purchases of just the ones I want. That is £10 a week for some pretty good content. Alternatively, subscribing to my channel is free and I do more than one video per week. I don't plan to get 120 neophytes, I have a lot of neophytes already, but several sets of 5 acolytes, which include parts for metamorphs, they should come with both sprues in one magazine, and £2 for a model is good when we're looking at the current prices of Games Workshop. And a cult truck or two is tempting at a reduced price. And if you were able to pick up all of the models in this Combat Patrol at just the once over, it could pair quite nicely with the new Genestealer Cult Combat Patrol, and I have a video that analyzes how good of a deal that is, and our new battle force, for however long we're able to get that. My darlings and viewers, have a great day of 40k.